Hey, it's Mack with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and it's Friday. It's April 25th. This will be our chart lesson for today. Unfortunately, I mean, this was a great downtrend today. A nice channel here. There are a couple different ways to see it, but unfortunately, I missed it today. I didn't do any trading today. Um, Upgraded my computer. Well, actually, I didn't really upgrade my computer. I just bought a new one, and so I had to reinstall everything. And they went through all that for me yesterday, and everything was working great. I tested everything when they left yesterday. But as you would know, when I came in this morning, logged in, NinjaTrader would not work. And so I played with it. Finally decided I'd reinstall it. I reinstalled it, and then I had problems connecting again. And so by the time I got everything going, um, it was about almost noontime, and there were still some nice trades setting up. But I went to try to put all my stuff back on, set all my NinjaTrader charts up the way I like them, and then I started having problems with NinjaTrader again. I couldn't get the price line to work. I kept trying to import it. It telling me there was an error. So I had all kind of problems. So finally, about 3 o'clock today, I just completely deleted NinjaTrader, reinstalled it, and everything's working like a charm. Everything imported, everything worked perfect. Took about 20 minutes really from start. So I spent 3 hours for nothing when I should have just deleted it all and started over. So I don't know what happened, but needless to say, everything's working good now. I watched prices move the last 15 or 20 minutes of the market. Everything was printing properly. Everything seems to be working properly. So I think I'm back. I'm good to go. Hopefully, I don't come in Monday with the same problem. Uh, but let's talk about. I'm gonna go through the trades real quick. I'm gonna show you a couple of more charts that people sent me today. Talk about a couple of real quick things. But there's a lot of trades. But there was two ways to see. Early on, you had a little short-term channel working down here. Had a little overshoot. It might have been a little bit lower earlier on. But I believe that to be the channel right down through there. And we did have a little overshoot, and then we undershot it right there. But this was just kind of a short-term temporary trend in a bigger channel. And once you got these last few swings, if you drew that line and drug it up, uh, this turns perfectly right off of it, and then that fits the median line or the midline. So I believe this to be the channel. I'm not the only one that saw it. Of course, there's the short-term channel coming down, the break, two legs to a new low, the correction, the break, two legs to a new high, the trend coming down, a break, a couple of legs down to it, and then we've been in this channel since a little after 1 o'clock, and we closed inside that channel. So price action worked perfectly. If you find your trends and you draw your channels properly, everything was worked flawlessly today. But anyway, let's talk about the first couple of trades. This was just a two-legged pullback. Uh, there was a failed second entry long right there, counting off the low. There's your first leg up, pullback, second leg up, it turns down. There was actually a little second entry in there earlier, and you can see it right there. And prices broke lower, and it looked like it was really going to be a failed second entry. I see what's missing here. My 21 bar EMA. Okay, I'm sorry. I realized I didn't have my 21 bar EMA on there, and so I added that. I just paused it and added that real quick so we wouldn't waste time with that. But you can see there was a second entry short. It failed like it was going to be a failed second entry long, but you don't want to be taking a long right there. It's choppy. That's a little congestion area. So when it broke higher and then turned down, that's a great place to go short right there. Nice setup. Look how bearish that is. Opens way up here and turns and closes on its low. And there was some news. It seemed like there was a news item this morning. Okay, sorry, I had an interruption. There were some news items earlier. I think there was I think there was 7:30, 8 o'clock, and maybe 9 o'clock. Or no, it was 7:30 and 9 is what it was. And they were medium type things. There was a Chicago Fed activity, and I think leading indicators at 9, and we'll just see exactly how those 7:30. It's probably part of what generated the original part of this sell-off, and then the 9 o'clock one came right in here. We kind of rallied from that 9 o'clock one actually. It was positive. I believe it came out a little better than what expected. So, but anyway, um, he had some news items, but nothing. You can see nothing that really affected the market very strongly. So. Um, That was your first entry. And then this is just a two-legged pullback to the EMA, the trend line. Look at that reverse. It broke higher and then turned down. You could have just put a stop when it broke lower, and maybe even a limit order when it broke lower. But it looks like you might have missed this trade because it closed on its low and then opened on its low and moved down. And then you get another pullback to the EMA trend line, and you get a second entry short right there. Let me make this just slightly bigger. But we didn't really try to go higher twice, but notice it went up, pulled back, and tried to go higher again, and there's a little bit higher turn down right there. So that's similar to two legs up. It's really a double top right there at the EMA trend line. And even if you waited till this bar, if you waited till this one, you're going low, so close to the low. But it is coming off the trend line, and we haven't touched the lower side yet. And you can see when we did get to the lower side, it bounced. That was a nice move. And then another pullback. This one was the first entry. Actually, I meant to make that one green, and I never changed it. It's a first entry short. We hadn't really had a break of the trend line yet, but that's a fairly bullish move up right there. And so there was no break of that little. That's enough to have a little bit of a trend there. And there was no break of that yet. It just turned down. See, it did try to come back, and then it went down. So, but because it's off the trend line and there's no break and or anything, you might have considered, especially when it turned down right here and made this real bearish one. I would have either gone short there, or maybe dropped a limit order, and you see it did come back a few ticks and then go down. But there's another chance to enter, and boom, and then all of a sudden it can't get down to this trend line, and it's running up. So I drew this line right across those three lows, thinking, hey, there may be something else here. You drag it up, and sure enough, when it comes right up here, it turns down. So fairly easy to see. Um, and you probably should have noticed these bounces right off of this line coming down through here too. And that's just a midline there. So you really got two halves of this thing. So then you got your trend working up. You get your first break here, a move to a new high, and you try to go higher a few more times. Really aggressive trader might have even gone short right there. Let's just go ahead and circle that one green. Well, what is the deal? I don't know why I can't grab it. Maybe this is in the way. I have no idea. I got a brand new mouse, so I can't blame it on my mouse now. Maybe it's because it's locked. I don't know how that happened, but needless to say, it wouldn't let me. That's interesting. I don't know if that's some other bug in this. Hope that's not going to be an issue. Um, but you can see this move up, and we got a break here. We had a this was a little bit of a break, but it didn't really close outside it, so it really closed right back on the line. And this was the first close we had out and moved to a new high. So an aggressive trader probably would have gone short there. And there was a second entry short there, but hopefully you realize why you can't exit there, um, or you can't go short there. Um, we're not back to this upper trend line. We've, it's not a very good setup. If you did go short there when it went higher here, you probably want to exit, or what you probably want to do is wait for it to pull back, see if it pulls back and exit. You can't afford to let it go too far. The odds are we're going to still make a new low, but sometimes these things will run 5 or 6 points before they turn down, and you just can't hardly wait on them. But if you went short there, the only thing that would have kept you out of that is the trend line, and following this trend line rule. And notice there's no close outside it yet, so you're waiting on that close outside, and it can't close outside. It bounces off of it, and then there's your first close and your move up. So I think it's important that you draw these lines. And if you see, if you put that on there on that side, it's holding prices really well all the way up. And then you get the turn down there. Like I said, aggressive trader might go short there. Then you get a better setup here. And then you get another second entry short here. This one was a little iffy too. You might have waited on this to break out and turn up and then go back down. So, but there's a failed second entry long right there, and that is a second entry short in a downtrend. And it's the first break of this shorter term channel, and we aren't back down to the low one, and we did go through, but sometimes it'll go through like that and go higher. So, but you notice it never gave you a second entry long or anything. I wouldn't have taken it even if it did, because you're still looking for a new low, and then you get it. And you never know if you're going to get that second leg down, but you did. And so I didn't mark that one. I think we weren't back down here yet. So if you took this, there really was never actually there is a trap there. I didn't notice that. They got a new high first entry pullback. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and mark that one too, because there is a trap. And since I kind of looked at this after the fact, I wasn't paying that close attention to the chart today. I missed that fact. It's real close to the low, so I think it's still aggressive, but it is coming off that median line. And I want to talk about that in a minute, because I've been going back and forth with another trader about that the last couple of days. Again, you got your trend line moving up. You might have considered that a close, but you didn't have a new high. There's a second entry short there. I think you almost have to take that double top right at the trend line. It would have worked, and then you make this next move up. Then you get a big bearish bar right there. You can't hardly ignore that one either. I think with it being that close to the EMA, I would have either waited on a second entry, or I would have used a limit order. So let's just make that one green, because there are some stipulations in that. Unless you went short onto that one, and I think that's a little risky. And then you get a failed second entry long, or you actually, it's not really a failed second entry long, but you get another first entry short, and you need to wait on a second entry, because that's a doji, and you're still making higher highs and higher lows. And so you get your second entry short off that new high right there. And you also get a little trend line right there, and it comes back and it tests it. So I like that one. And then this is a two-legged pullback. First break of this little channel, make a new low. It comes back. You make a double top, a little failed break higher. You're still looking for a new low on your bigger channel here. See the break. This is the first break of the bigger channel. So you're still looking for a new low. So no reason to go long yet. There's your chance to get short again. There's actually a second entry right there. So you could have added on, or if you missed the first one, jump back in right there, and off it goes down. It makes a new low, and guess what? You got your break of the big channel and a couple of legs down to a new low. There's leg one, and there's leg two, a perfect measured move. and then you're going the other way. And I didn't mark anything after that because it was almost 2 o'clock. I mean, there was plenty of trades here for anybody. And you can see the bigger channel. Somehow I moved that a few times. Bigger channel. You break your bigger channel, and you can see all the smaller channels in the breaks as well. And just so you, I'm going to show you a couple of other charts real quick. Here's a chart another trader sent me. You can see he saw the same things I saw, almost identical. You got the shorter term trend line, the smaller one working down, channel working down. He's got the bigger channel with a midline. He got the channels on all the corrections here. He's got the smaller channel here. He didn't mark anything after that. I don't know what time he sent me this, but let's see if there's a time on this. He sent me that about 2:37, so he either was done trading or he didn't mark anything after that point. But you can see he saw exactly what I saw. It's amazing how when people send me these charts, how they look like exactly like mine. So I'm not the only one seeing this stuff. Other people are learning to see it. Here's you another one. Look at here. This guy sent me his. Want to know if that's what I saw. Same exact thing. He sees the bigger channel, the midline, the shorter term channels. He's got those on here. I mean, great work. I mean, that's, and so trust me, we're not the only ones seeing this stuff. Other people are seeing it too. Other smart traders are seeing it. The people that understand what's going on see it. 90% of the traders probably don't have a clue, and that's why they lose every day. And just because you see it doesn't mean you don't still make mistakes or still get trapped or you still have to, just because you see it, that's the first step. You still have to be able to figure out the setups and so forth. So I think I got one other chart here. This is a third trader that sent me one. I guess because we talked about it yesterday, everybody wanted to show me their charts. You can see he saw the shorter term channel, just like mine, the overshoot here. And he doesn't have the midline in here, but he's got the main channel. He's got the shorter term channels. Look at that. He's got it down. Very good. So that's 3 people besides me that saw the exact same things today. So there was one other thing I want to talk about. I've been talking with another trader the last few days. He'll know who he is, and let me show you what he's done the last couple of days. Let's see if I can find exactly. This was yesterday's chart. So the previous day he went long right here, and he couldn't figure out why that was a bad trade. And if you draw your trend channel, oops. You can see there's a nice channel working up through there. We got a break, a couple legs up to a new high. But regardless, this is the first entry at the very highs. And you haven't had much of a correction. It's the first entry. When you're working your way up, you're looking for second entries counting off the high. So this would have been a second entry, but even that was not a good entry. Notice the new high, pull back. That's your first entry, pull back. There's your second entry. There was a second entry right there, but it wasn't a very good one for a couple of reasons. One is you had this range across here, or this resistance across here, so it's a failed break above that. But even more importantly, you had your channel working up and you got your break, and it's 2 tests of that high again that failed, and it turns down. So he went long right there, and he couldn't figure out. He kept saying that he couldn't figure out why that was a bad trade. And basically what I was telling him was the first entry. You got to wait on at least a second entry, but you need to see the other parts of the picture too. You don't go high right against resistance, because this is what happens to you. You wait on the pullbacks You know, when you're in a trading range like this, you're looking to get short up here, not long. And then yesterday, I think he went short right right here. But that it looks like that might have worked. Let me just maybe that's not it. Your entry would have been 65. Yeah, that would have worked. Hmm. Maybe it was right here. I think that maybe this is where it was. So if he went 66, 65. Okay, I think that's where it is. He had a little break higher above this bar right here, and he tried to say that he didn't understand why he didn't want to go short right there. And I tried to explain to him that you need to wait on a second entry. Which look, it came right here, and look, easy trade. Yeah. Let me find. Let me see if I can find his chart. I'm gonna pause this and see if I can find his chart. Okay, here's his chart, and he went short just below this bar right here. First of all, it's a horrible signal bar. It's a doji. And look, there's one, two, three, four, five of them stacked up there. When congestion starts to form like that, it usually means you're going to get a little bit of a correction. And look what happens. It corrects back to the EMA, and then you get the perfect setup. You need, when you're going short, you're looking to go short off resistance on a correction or a pullback. And when you're going long, you do just the opposite. Well, he did this same thing off the high the day before, and it failed, and I explained to him why it wasn't a good setup. And so I think what he's looking at the pullback first entry, pullback, and then a failed second entry long. And a lot of times that will be a good failed second entry long, a trap, but not when you only got one tick below the low of the day. That's the low of the day. Or is that the low of the day? It's definitely the low of this trend coming down. And let me just compare that to my chart. This is where he did it right here, I guess, on that little break lower right there. Or no, it must have been. I can't figure out where it is on my chart. I'm sorry. But anyway, there it is on his chart. He went low short right there, and you can't do that. There's not enough room to scalp out. There, we just had a huge move down. You just made the low of the day. You got, it's a look. If anything, it's a failed break lower. Because look, you had those matching lows. There's a little congestion area, and you break out and you fail. You pull back. And so that's a first entry short. Every time you make a new low on the way down, your count starts over. So let me just show you here. You made a new low here, you pull back, that's a first entry. But that's a better first entry than his last one because look, it gives you a chance to get short off the EMA, which is where the resistance is, and there's a failed break out the high side. So that's a good reason to go short there. Even this one is not too bad. Notice you made a new low, you pull back, first entry. And you wouldn't want to go short down here because look what happened. It breaks lower and it corrects. And then you got these two big up downs. You definitely don't want to go short there. That's a first entry. Notice the new low. You pull back first entry. You pull back. There's a second entry. And even then, you don't have a break. He's got his little trend line drawn. So no break of it yet. Then you get your break. You move to a new high. And then you get your setup to go short. And look. And then you get a new low. Pull back a first entry. That's not a good setup. That one would have worked, but you don't want to take that one. Most likely it is off of he does have a little channel drawn here. Um, it's really a lot steeper than that, and that's the first break, so you're probably going to make a new low, and it does make a new low. Then you get another new low, pull back, first entry, pull back, and there's a second entry, and look, that one works. It's still not the best setup, but it's better. You can't go short down here. You got to go short up here on the pullbacks. Then you get a new low right here because that's lower than those last couple of, actually you get a new low there. That's a first entry. Then you pull down, you get a new low, pull back first entry. And then it pulls back and look at that second entry. That's a great second entry, and look at it go. And then you get a first, then you got a new low, and so he went short on the first entry. Then you pull back and you get a second entry, and look at it go. I don't know what else to tell you other than you can't go short or at the very lows, one tick off the low on a horrible setup, and you can't go long up here because this is basically where he went long before. The previous day he went long right here, and he couldn't figure out why that failed. And I explained to him, and then he turned around and did the exact same thing on the low side, and he actually thought he understood what I told him, and he was doing the right thing because he says, even if I'm right, I lose. But you're not right, is what I'm trying to tell you. There's nothing in what we teach that tells you to go short right there ever. I mean, everything we teach you tells you never take that trade. And so make sure you understand that. And it's not a second entry. And he's asking, I want to ask you why in this case even the second entry was no good. Well, it's not a second entry, it's a first entry, because every time you make a new low, you start the count over. Your second entry is right here, and look at that move down. Boom. It would have been a winner. You just got to be patient, and you got to follow the rules. So I hope that's helpful. Hope you see this video. I'm going to send him an email to make sure he sees that. And I think that was about it that I was going to show on charts today. See if there's anything. I know there was one other thing I was going to talk about. I get this question a lot. People ask me about starting a trading room or starting a service where, I put my charts online. And I've answered this question a bunch of times, but I'll answer it again in the video just so it's clear. First of all, I don't think any of that will help anybody. You can watch me trade all you want. And in the end, it's not going to help you. Trading room will just take your money. That's one thing. That's my opinion. I'm not against any trading rooms. I'm not trying to down talk anybody's trading rooms. But, you can sit there and watch a trader in a trading room forever, but in the end, you still have to learn to do it yourself, and or you're never going to make money. So, but the main reason I don't do a trading room is because I make my living trade. I don't make much money doing this teaching. I do this for free. And everybody says, well, yeah, but if you open a trading room, you could make a fortune. Well, I don't want to make a fortune because I can make all the money I want to make trading with half the stress, half the worry, and I can come and go as I please. I'm not interested in a trading room for that reason. So, but yesterday somebody asked me if I would at least put my trading on and trade live, and I don't have to talk about it, just people could watch me. But let me explain to you. I've tried to explain. It's similar to trying to trade 1,000 contracts. You have to concentrate. You have to pay attention to what you're doing. And if you're not paying attention, you're going to lose money. This is not, it's so easy to get distracted and make mental errors. And just the idea that somebody else is watching your trades will affect exactly how you trade. Trust me on that. I know. I've tried it. I've sat in front of people and tried to do it, and it affects the way you think. It affects your trades. And this is my living. This is how I make my living. I'm not interested. I'm more than willing to help people as much as I can, but I won't do a live trading room. I'm not going to put my trades on the screen or my trading screen up here and trade live. I'm not going to do that. Maybe one day I might do, when I demonstrate I've tried to, when I've got time, I've tried to demonstrate some trades through, close my live trading down and get on the simulator and take some trades and then put it on the screen. Well, at some point, maybe I might consider doing that after my trading's over, opening one, but it's so hit and miss that I don't know how reliable it would be, and I'd probably do it for free. I won't charge anybody anything if I do that. So, but this is not, I don't do this for money. I want to make sure everybody understands that this chart lesson is free. And it's, and people come on here and then they complain about stuff, and this person's not complaining, so don't take that the wrong way. But people have come on here and complained about how I do it, and why don't I do this? Why don't I do that? Well, I do this because I enjoy doing it. I don't make any money doing this video. It takes a couple hours out of my day every day, and I do it for free, and anybody can watch it. And if it's helpful to you, which is what I hope it is, that's great. If it's not, there's plenty of people that'll take your money to show you something else. So again, I'm not trying to be ugly about it. I just want people to understand that I'm a trader first and foremost, and I only do this on the side. The main reason I started doing this video is because it helps me. By doing this chart review, it helps me. And then other people wanted help, and the same way I got into the manual, you know, it helps other people. And I know that these videos have helped and changed a lot of people's lives. I mean, I get the emails every day of people telling me, "Hey, you changed my trading forever." And thanks for it. And they may not have ever even bought the manual. They might have just watched the videos and picked it all up from the videos. So I hope that's clear to people. It's not that I'm not trying to hide anything from anybody. I'm not trying to make any claims. I'm just showing you what I know and I do every day. And if it's helpful to you, which I hope it is, use away at it. If you want more information, you can go to the website and you can pay a little bit to get it. I basically charge nothing for it, just enough for the effort to put it in and to keep the tire kickers and the complainers away. So they got to pay a little bit. It just basically pays expenses, and anything that's pretty much left over, I give it to my son for his allowance. He's in college, and he helps me with a website, and he does some things for me, and it's kind of a hobby of his. So, but anyway, I hope that's clear to people as to why I don't do any of that. And so, I've said it many times over the videos, but people, there's always new people coming in and people, come stopping by. And so I just thought it was worth saying again. So, but anyway, I'm going to wrap this up. This is Mack with PriceActionTradingSystem.com. I hope everybody has a great weekend, and we'll be back to do it Monday. And hopefully I'll be on track Monday with no more problems due to my upgrade and new computer system. So we'll see you next time.